Coming up on City Spotlight, Season 10 with an on-location episode featuring 2 communities. First, in Chrisman, we catch up on the latest with Chrisman Schools with Jim Acklin, Interim Superintendent for Edgar County CUSD number 6, and the recent physical changes to Chrisman Schools. Then, it's off to Oakland as we talk Oakland Schools with new school administrators Nate Pugh, Superintendent of Oakland Schools, and Kendall Huffman, Principal of Oakland Schools, and their vision for Oakland Schools moving forward. We're on location talking not one but 2 communities, Chrisman and Oakland. Next on City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com. And hello and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. As you can see, we are on location once again here as we continue the start of the first half of Season 10. We're going to feature not one but 2 communities in this program, and we're going to start over here in Chrisman, talking Chrisman Schools, which means we welcome back to the program Jim Acklin, Interim Superintendent of Edgar County CUSD number 6. Jim, great to have you on the program again.
It's great to see you again, Ramin. Thanks for coming.
Great to be back with Jim. We're taping about a year apart, so time has elapsed and some great things have happened here at Chrisman Schools. And let's start right off the bat, Jim, talking about some physical changes, very noticeable on the drive-in today. You had that solar that we talked about a year ago is up and going, or at least physically up, at the 2 buildings.
Yeah, we're really excited about the prospects there. It's been a long time coming, and we're right on the cusp of those going online. They are operational. We're just waiting for Ameren's final blessing. A lot of hoops to jump through in that regard. We're proud of the fact that we're the first school district in Edgar County to have solar panels, and it's going to be a great thing for the community moving forward because it will save us quite a bit in regards to our electrical costs.
A lot of solar up in the general areas. When you drive around to the rural communities, I've seen a lot of solar. So for Chrisman Schools to have that to help moving forward, what a great addition. Yep.
I just looked at the numbers this morning. When we're part of what's called a PPA, or a power purchase agreement, where we don't actually own the arrays. They are on our space. We will get electricity at a much reduced cost. The projection when we first got going with this 4 years ago was that we'd save about $28,000 per year in electrical costs, but since costs have gone up since then, we're going to save even more than that.
Wow.
There is another option after year 6. We would have the option to buy either array. We've got one here at the high school, junior high, and one at the elementary. We would have the option to buy either or both. It's on an amortized schedule where that purchase cost comes down each year. And in fact, when you get to year 25, they actually become ours, so we wouldn't have to pay anything at all. And so future boards and administrators will have to take a look at where energy costs are and factor that into what the costs would be on that amortized schedule. But it might make sense somewhere around year 10 to really look at purchasing those arrays, because at that point we wouldn't just be getting our electricity at a reduced cost, we'd be getting our electricity for nothing. The question that I sometimes get is, okay, how long do these arrays last? I'm told probably 35 years before the panels themselves have to be switched out, and certainly sometime between now, that's a generation away, sometime between now and then there might be something that would be even more efficient that the current administration and board would want to look at as far as any kind of an upgrade, but it wouldn't be like starting completely over because the structure is there. It would be a matter of swapping out the solar panel. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
That'll be a nice thing to think about when I'm retired and I drive by and see those panels and think of the money that is being saved in this school district.
And you got those in on your watch, so
yes,
you
yes.
definitely think about that. Very good. Also, some future HVAC work is going to be done in this building, but
yes.
in order to get to that, you're doing some electrical work.
We had electrical work that was done actually. The years kind of run together. I'm going to say it was last school year we had a local outfit come in and totally redo our electrical panel where all of the power comes in for the high school, junior high building. That was pretty extensive. All of that dated back to the 1950s, and so to support the new HVAC, all of that had to be done first.
Modern.
Yes, correct.
So that's a big step.
Yes.
To fix electrical.
Yes.
Whether it be a home or a school building.
Correct.
Very much needed for that. Also read somewhere that you have some other grants that helped you move some things around in the high school building. Importance of grants in schools and to be able to do things you need to do.
Well, you mentioned the HVAC. We actually are about halfway done with that project. Probably half of our rooms in the high school wing have what we call mini splits or heat pumps, which not only provide air conditioning, but they'll provide heat at the beginning and the end of a heating season, so we can eventually not have to fire boilers too soon. They're very, very efficient in that regard. When all of that's complete, then approximately half of that project will have been paid through a state school maintenance grant. I think the total project is maybe in two phases, about $124,000. State grant will have paid for about $50,000 of that.
So some big things happening right now for
Yes.
Chrisman Schools that are large scale, and obviously you would want them to work long term. So you're helping kind of pave the way for the next. I mean, we talk about the high school building being. We talked about the age of it approaching 120 years. So you're helping get things kicked off for the next X number of years for Chrisman students.
Yeah, and I think the last time we talked about the importance of the county sales tax that we're the beneficiary of. That's been just wonderful in regards to taking care of a lot of deferred maintenance, roofing and windows and tuck pointing and HVAC, things that we would not have been able to do without those funds.
We're taping here with Jim Acklin on November 2nd here in Chrisman. How's the start of the school year? Is obviously a couple months in. How's the start of the first half of the school year going?
It's been a really good start. We've had some staff turnover, which is not atypical. As you probably know, there's a teacher shortage. There's not a deep talent pool of teachers out there, and yet we feel very good about the people that we've brought on board, some really good young people that we hope will stay with us. And obviously, the longer they stay, the better that is for kiddos. You know, we've talked a lot here the last couple of interviews about what we've done to our physical plant in both buildings. But ultimately, a school building is just a box with a series of smaller boxes inside. It's the people inside that are important. That's what makes it go, and we feel really good about the staff that we have here.
All right, let's quickly get to what we wanted to talk about. The first time we ran out of time last year when we talked with Jim for the first time, and the last thing I had on my line of questions was about programs. So let's highlight some of those outstanding programs that the students benefit from.
Right, and you had talked about the importance of grants. So we've been the beneficiary of what's called a state community partnership grant, which is for social emotional learning. It's a 2-year grant. And that grant has funded a lot of good things for our kiddos. One of the things that we're using that money for is an after-school program at the elementary school. That goes Monday through Friday. It goes from 3 o'clock to 5:30. We have anywhere from 40 to 45 kiddos that take advantage of that every day. There's a homework club where the kiddos can work on their homework for the next day. There's some enrichment programs. There's some fun types of things because they've been in school all day. There's a snack there also, and that's been very, very well received. I believe we're in our second year of that, and I don't know that the district will have the funding for that next year, but I think there's a little bit of carryover that we hope to be able to leverage those funds at least for one more year on that after-school program.
Very good. Glad to be able to share that information with our viewers on the different programs in the Chrisman Schools. In our last couple of minutes here with Jim, I want to say that this is our second time taping with you and will be your final school year.
Yeah, I'm gonna retire. This is my 43rd year in education, and
Wow,
and certainly, thank you. Certainly, the decision comes with mixed emotions, but I think it's time for somebody else with maybe a younger outlook and a higher energy level to step in. And the board's actually looking for a full-time replacement. And I think, I've been here part-time. I think long-term that's for the best. You're able to see down the road a little bit better. And so I'm doing my best this year to set up my successor to be successful, and hoping that that the years that I've been here, people look back and say, yeah, he made a positive difference here.
That was one of my favorite parts about our first time talking with Jim a year ago here, and learning about you and your long journey, and a lot of those 40 plus years have been in this area. Do you have something that stands out for your, I think I have it down, you were here 7 years in this kind of capacity?
I'm in year 7.
So do you have something that you're most proud of from your 7 years here in Chrisman? Obviously, maybe in consideration, not that I'm saying it is, but getting through a pandemic is kind of an achievement.
I would say so. I remember thinking about, selfishly, that was no fun to deal with.
No.
And I expressed some frustration to the school attorney one time in conversation, and he kind of spun it a little different way. He said, your district's lucky that they had someone with some experience to help guide them through that. And then I thought, well, okay, if that's that made me feel better about going through that, which was no fun for anyone, regardless of experience level.
Okay, very good. Jim, happy early retirement.
Thank you.
Glad to have been able to tape with you for 2 times here on City Spotlight and help the Chrisman Schools these past 7 years. Jim Acklin, Interim Superintendent, Edgar County CUSD number 6. Jim, thank you so much for your time here on City Spotlight, and again, happy retirement.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We've been talking Chrisman Schools here in this first segment. In our second segment, we're going to change locations and communities as we head to Oakland and learn what's going on with Oakland Schools. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in the communities of Chrisman and Oakland. And we're back here on City Spotlight. This new combination episode, we've changed locations from Chrisman to Oakland. We're going to keep the theme of education, and we're back talking Oakland Schools here on City Spotlight. And to help us out, we have 2 first-time guests to the program. We welcome to the program the new superintendent of Oakland Schools, Nate Pugh. Nate, glad to have you on.
Thank you.
And Kendall Huffman, principal of Oakland Schools. Kendall, great to have you on.
Thank you.
Very exciting here on City Spotlight to have new guests on, and glad to be back in a familiar place, which is the Oakland Schools. We're taping in the high school wing of the schools here because we have the 2 buildings all in one. Mm-hmm. So let's get to know you guys before we dive into how the school year is going, programs that you may want to highlight in the schools, and we'll go ladies first. Kendall, tell us about yourself.
My name's Kendall Huffman, and this is my first year as the principal of Oakland. Before this year, I was a high school English teacher for the last 10 years in the Arthur School District, okay. And then it's my 14th year in education total. And I live in Tuscola with my husband and my kids.
Very good. Thank you. Glad to have you on. Nate, tell us about yourself.
Yes, I guess you could say I'm a well-traveled educator. I started my career in Fort Myers, Florida, where I went to grad school down at Florida Gulf Coast University, and then made my way back up to, well, I guess my roots, where I'm from. And at that point, I went to Neoga for a year, and I was in Canton, and then I landed in Mattoon, where I was the principal for Mattoon Middle School for 5 years, prior to coming here to Oakland. And I feel very blessed with this opportunity.
Well, fantastic. Thank you for that background on each of you. And let's just dive in just a little bit more about your journeys to this point, to Oakland, and your new roles here. How do you think each of your previous experiences in education helped you get to this point? Again, Kendall, go first.
So being a high school English teacher, I was very lucky to have lots of different experiences with high school education, standardized testing, the different logistics of athletics and clubs and those things. So those have all prepared me to help kind of facilitate those programs here in Oakland. And then before then I taught elementary school, so all those things kind of led me to a spot where I get to work with all pre-K all the way up to 12th grade.
Okay, very good. And for you, Nate, your journey to Oakland?
Yeah, I've been mostly a middle school person. I don't know if that's karma or what it is, but I have my career has mostly been in the middle school world, and I will tell you that we are a strength-based organization in that we want to utilize staff and student strengths to help benefit themselves. And that's exactly what we did here. As far as Mrs. Huffman and myself, when we just were looking for the right combination, we wanted to find a partnership to where we had different strengths so that we could come together and cover everything for our kids and staff.
All right, great to have you guys on. I don't have to ask you, tell me about yourself moving forward. The next time we come back here, we can just dive into what's going on here in the Oakland schools. And let's go ahead and ask you the proverbial, how's the school year going to this point? Who wants to start?
The school year is going really well. I wasn't necessarily sure what to expect when we started, just because this is my first year as the principal. I'm like, I don't know what I don't know. But the kids are wonderful. The staff has been just awesome to work with, and the community has been very welcoming. They have kind of welcomed us both with open arms and getting out there and inviting us to different events and meeting all of the different community stakeholders, and so it's gone very well.
And for you, Nate?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, just a little story real quick.
Sure.
The first board meeting when I got put in, my family, my wife, and 2 daughters came, and my wife took our 4-year-old to the restroom. I look up, and there's a gentleman holding our 1-year-old, and I literally welcomed us with open arms, literally. And that's exactly how we feel with the community, is that, for a strong school district to survive and keep going, we need a strong community.
Right.
Well, for a strong community to be sustained, you need a strong school district. And so that's exactly what we're wanting to do, is work in partnerships with the community and all stakeholders here in the area.
I haven't had the chance to ask this question in quite a while to an educator, a new educator, but you're both not from Oakland. This is not a knock on Oakland. This is a small community, but a lot of great things happen in small communities. So your early impressions of being an educator in Oakland, Illinois?
So far, it's been really awesome, and we're learning what is important, what are the values of Oakland. And so one of the things that we're bringing into the schools is this E-cubed philosophy, that each of our students will be a part of one of 3 pathways, starting as early as middle school. And so the 3 pathways are employed with insurance, enlisted, or enrolled. And so our goal is that the day after high school graduation, every one of our students has a path to follow in order to become, a successful citizen of Oakland in the future.
Nate, you previously came, thank you very much,
You're
Kendall.
welcome.
Nate, you came from being an educator in Mattoon, Illinois, a little bit bigger than Oakland, Illinois, but your early impressions of being here in Oakland as an educator?
Well, I will tell you this. I was blessed with the opportunity to come over and meet with all staff one-on-one at the end of last school year. Okay. So I met all staff. We are getting to know all the students, and what we want to do is just that. We want to get to know all their strengths, passions, and interests. Because if we can utilize those for both staff and students, we know we're going to support them to hit their highest potential.
This is not on my list of questions, but kind of, sometimes you ad-lib, but you both are new. It's not like you came in and you already had an existing principal and vice versa. What's that like for both of you to each come in here, both kind of starting fresh?
Well, it gives us a lot of opportunity to think outside of the box because neither one of us have this idea of what should be happening or what we've done in the past. And so we kind of have free reign of what's best for our students, what's best for our staff, and neither one of us are too stuck in our ways yet.
Anything you want to add there, Nate?
Yeah, we are. We're a team-based school is what we are. And what I mean by that is that we don't work in isolation. We work with others, and we're not all like-minded because we know to make progress, we have to have different thoughts. And so what we do is we respect those, and we keep in mind we're all here for the same reason: what's best for these kids.
And because we have very different experiences previously, we bring a different set of ideas to a problem and a different way of handling it, and it really does help us kind of be solution-oriented.
Okay, very good. I think you kind of, in your answers, may have answered one of my last questions, which was your goals, and we can follow up on that the next time. But I want to give you the last 4 or 5 minutes to kind of maybe highlight some programs that you think are unique and outstanding to the Oakland schools.
Yeah, so going back to the E-Cubed, we're trying to build our programs that are existing in our building that will help set our students up for choosing one of those pathways. So our industrial arts program is back for the first year. In the last few years it hasn't been filled, so we have a kind of a booming industrial arts program. We have a new FFA agriculture teacher this year, and Nick Turner is doing amazing things. They're actually all in Indianapolis right now at FFA convention.
Awesome.
So that program is just kind of busting at the seams, ready to kind of take on some new...
Seems fitting in the community
Yes.
where it's located.
Yeah, and it's kind of revived it a little bit this year, breathing some new life into it. Our Mariah Wagner is our FCCLA sponsor and family consumer science teacher, so she is doing a lot to prepare our students that might want a pathway in the food industry.
Okay.
And so we really are kind of using the programs and our students' interests to prepare them for life after high school.
Anything else program-wise, Nate, that you want to highlight that she hasn't already highlighted? And again, or maybe just echo what she's talked about.
Well, I think what we're doing again is, after completing our first quarter here in Oakland, we want to listen is what we want to do. We want to listen to kids. We want to listen to the staff. We want to listen to community members. We want to listen to parents.
So you guys are learning.
Yes, because we also have to remember a child's educational journey is theirs. And so we want them to be behind the steering wheel. Right. We are there to support and help guide and give them opportunities. And that's exactly where we're going to put our focus, is finding opportunities for our students. Just because we're small and rural doesn't mean we can't make it happen.
Yeah, I want Oakland to become this rural destination school. I was fortunate enough to go to a very large high school in the Metro East area of St. Louis, and so we had all kinds of opportunities. I graduated with 800 students. We had, plethora of opportunities, and I don't ever want a student's zip code to determine what they're able to do inside of the school and then after high school. So I want them to feel like they have just as many opportunities regardless of their town population being 500 or 600 compared to one that's 40,000.
I think there's another point here that benefits both Mrs. Huffman and myself very well, and that is our connections in the area. Mrs. Huffman has led and been a very respectful educator in the Arthur area, and so she has tons of connections there. And being in Mattoon for such a long time, as well as Canton and Neoga, we have people that we can,
So you geographically, both of you have been in the vicinity of Oakland, so you're not completely out of your wheelhouse.
Yes. Yeah. I have, since I taught for 2 years in the Champaign Public Schools, but since then I have exclusively taught in rural schools, and so that is part of my passion.
Arthur is certainly that.
Yes, Arthur, and then I taught at Atwood Hammond prior to that, and my husband is from Atwood Hammond.
Excellent. I would be remiss, you highlighted, this is the room that I taped in previously when I did a segment on Oakland Schools at least 5 or 6 years ago. Looks a lot different. Tell us about this location that we're taping at here in Oakland High School.
So this is our student lounge. So this is where our high school students eat lunch and hang out. I went on the FFA trip with the students over the summer before I actually started, and they were talking to me about the changes that they would like to see in their school, and they said our student lounge is boring. And so they came in after our trip and they picked out the furniture, they came up with the paint design, and so then they came in
Lots of orange.
over the summer, and the students painted, the students put the furniture together, the students put the layout together, and so we really want our school to be kind of driven by the students. And
Almost feels like, since I last was here, it almost feels like, I feel like a room you might find in a college dormitory. So
Yeah.
it kind of has that feel. Kendall certainly was very excited. Make sure you get the old scoreboard in the shot. I don't know if I achieved that the last time I was here, because
Yes.
it was straight behind us, but I think we got it in the shot.
In honor of Bobby Knight, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds me of Hoosiers so much. So
And I think it's important to also make sure that we're honoring the past of this school district and this school, but also recognizing that we're taking it into kind of a new era.
Right. My wife is an old Oakland Oak, so there you go. So I'll have to tell her about coming back to her old stomping grounds. Nate and Kendall, anything else you'd like to add in our final minute here, taping here? First time back in Oakland in a while, talking Oakland Schools.
I've just said we're really excited about what's happening in our building. You know, we're lucky enough to have students here for 13 years total, pre-K to 12, so we have the chance to really get to know our kids and really be a significant part of their educational experience.
Give you the final word, Nate?
yes, first of all, I want to say thank you for having us, and also to community members or anybody in Coles County or the surrounding area. If you have something you have to offer to the Oakland students in the Oakland School District, please call us. We would love to have people in to speak to our students about real life experiences and what they have seen in their lives or in their professions. And the doors are open for people to come in and be part of the learning, and that's exactly what we'd love to see happen.
Fantastic. Well, we're inside the doors of Oakland Schools, particularly this location, Oakland High School. Great to have Kendall here and Nate. So thank you very much for your first times here on City Spotlight. We look forward to taping with you more times down the road talking Oakland Schools.
All right, thank you.
Thank you
Thank you so much. And that'll do it for this latest City Spotlight on location combo episode talking Chrisman Schools, Oakland Schools. Thanks for watching. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.